Welcome, deeply curious listener. Today we're descending into a case that, well, it's left investigators, and frankly, an entire community, grappling with some profound, chilling questions.
He really has.
It's a story that feels ripped straight from the shadows, revealing the terrifying extent of human darkness. And what truly makes it unsettling isn't just the gruesome details, but that persistent why. The why that remains just shrouded in mystery.
Precisely. This deep dive, it's really going to challenge our perceptions of good and evil, I think. It forces us to confront some truly uncomfortable truths about human nature, especially, when the perpetrators are the ones you least expect.
Yeah.
Picture this with us. It's the quiet morning of December 2024. The air is crisp, sun rising over this unassuming rural landscape in an Egyptian village. But beneath that peaceful surface, a horrifying discovery is just about to be unearthed, something that shatters the tranquility forever.
The first whispers, those first shivers of dread, they didn't even start in the village itself. They started about 3 kilometers away,
Yeah.
in a small community called Wardown. It was a local who first recorded it. A chilling suspicion.
Yeah.
Human remains in what was supposed to be an empty apartment.
Wow.
The sheer unthinkable possibility of that discovery immediately pulled in everyone. Law enforcement, forensic teams, crime lab experts, they mobilized fast with this urgent, grim purpose.
I can only imagine.
And as they arrived, the scene itself was just thick with anticipation. A large crowd had already gathered below the apartment building. You could hear hushed murmurs, but they were almost swallowed by this oppressive silence that seemed to radiate from the windows above.
Yeah.
You could feel the collective dread, just this palpable tension hanging heavy in the air.
And stepping inside that apartment, the silence was even more profound, almost suffocating. It felt strangely desolate, like life had just been abruptly sucked out, leaving only dust and echoes behind.
Empty, basically.
Pretty much. Apart from a few discarded trinkets, the only things that really stood out were these handful of cardboard boxes just sort of haphazardly strewn about. The first box they opened immediately raised a red flag, but maybe not in the way you'd expect. Inside, nestled amidst the mundane, were religious beads, sagi, along with this pungent, lingering scent of incense Bach hour. And then a collection of photographs.
Not just family snaps.
No. These weren't just family snapshots. They were covered in these bizarre, intricate, magical talismans. It was an immediate, jarring sign. Black magic.
Whoa. Okay, so that's weird from the start.
Deeply unsettling. This detail, found before the true horror, it created this profound sense of unease. It painted a disturbing picture of the kind of people who'd been in this space.
But that unsettling feeling was just the prelude. The real horror was still waiting in another box.
Oh, man.
What they found there sent a jolt of ice through even the most seasoned investigators. A child's rib cage. A meticulously picked clown completely devoid of organs.
Oh, my God.
It had been expertly dismembered, with this chilling precision that suggested not brute force, but something far more calculated, almost surgical.
Unbelievable.
And then a human spinal column. Chillingly, undeniably from the same small body, you can only imagine the sheer terror, the visceral shock of seeing something like that for the first time.
I can't even.
The forensic team's immediate grim confirmation was unequivocal. These were, without a shadow of a doubt, human remains.
So the search continues.
It continues, methodically, painstakingly.
Yeah.
Under a bed, tucked away, the police uncovered a school bag.
Okay.
Inside, textbooks.
Yeah.
Mundane, innocent stuff. And then a child's head.
Oh, no.
A little girl's head, wearing a single earring. Just one. It was a detail so specific, so heartbreaking, it felt like a silent scream.
That single earring, that was more than just a detail. It was the devastating key, the identification.
How so?
You see, Walid, the father of 5-year-old Mecca, he'd reported his daughter missing some time before this.
Right.
When questioned, he described his daughter's unique habit. She only ever wore one earring because the other had broken.
Oh, yeah.
That specific, almost intimate detail confirmed the unspeakable. The remains were indeed Mecca's.
So that initial question, how did the villagers know about this apartment?
It just took on this terrifying new dimension. The question wasn't just how they knew, but who would do this. How did Mecca, an innocent 5-year-old, end up dismembered in an empty apartment 3 kilometers from her home, under such unspeakable circumstances? It changed everything.
To really grasp the horror of Mecca's end, we have to rewind. We need to go back in time before her disappearance to the place she called home, a tree's village. It's nestled within the Giza Governorate.
Right.
Imagine a place where everyone knows everyone, where family lines intertwined, and this close-knit community thrives on familiarity. In a trees, you don't just move in unnoticed. Every newcomer, every departure, it's observed, discussed.
Very tight community.
Very. And Mecca herself, she was the youngest of her siblings, a bright, adored child cherished by everyone. Her daily routine was simple, filled with childhood innocence, religious institute, then Quran memorization classes. Just a typical, safe, familiar life.
And on the day she disappeared, it began like any other ordinary day. Unremarkable, really, in its quiet rhythm.
Totally normal.
Mecca's mother, after a small, everyday negotiation like mothers and daughters have, had given her permission to play outside their house.
Okay.
But only after Mecca recounted her day to her, the way little kids do, and promised to come back quickly. They had a family visit planned. It was just this moment of fleeting freedom for a small child.
The chilling part. 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
That's all it took. For an ordinary day to twist into this unimaginable nightmare, Mecca ran out to play, full of that 5-year-old energy. Her mother, after finishing her prayers and a few household tasks, went to find her. But Mecca was gone.
Just gone.
Just vanished. The immediate gut-wrenching panic that followed was palpable. Walid, Mecca's father, he was called, and almost instantly the entire community mobilized.
The whole village.
The whole village. Searching everywhere. The air was thick with their desperate pleas, echoing from mosque loudspeakers. Surveillance cameras, limited as they were in this village, showed Mecca playing one moment, then simply disappearing from sight the next.
Wow.
The terrifying realization settled over them with this cold dread. She hadn't left the village. She couldn't have. No stranger could have taken her out unseen.
In this fact that she just vanished from within their familiar enclosed village that must have caused Walid and the whole community just extreme, almost unbearable distress.
Absolutely.
How could a child just disappear from a place where everyone knows each other, where there are basically no strangers?
Yeah.
This unsettling reality, it fueled their desperate search for answers. It forced them to observe every single detail, every anomaly, because if she didn't leave...
Then the answer had to be inside of trees.
Exactly. It was this profound violation of their shared security, a chilling crack in the foundation of their lives.
And observe they did.
Yeah.
The sharp collective eyes of the community, honed by generations of shared life, they picked up on a crucial detail. The only thing that had left a tree's village around the time of Mecca's disappearance, this was around 5 p.m., was a tricycle.
A tricycle.
Not just any tricycle.
Wow.
One heavily loaded with furniture, clearly moving someone out. And more importantly, it was carrying a family known to them. This was the only anomaly in an otherwise eerily still village. This one thread of deviation that snagged their attention.
And the family in question, this was Shama, known as Hashem.
That's the one?
She was a tenant, which you said was a bit unusual there, only lived in the village for about a year.
Right. Most people are lifelong residents.
Okay. And she had 4 kids. Muhammad, 18, Menna, 17, who, as we'll find out, becomes this crucial, terrifying figure.
Yeah.
And 2 younger children, 13 and 6. And that 6-year-old
was Mecca's playmate.
Right. So that connection, plus the weird timing of moving their stuff and them being relatively new, it immediately put the family under the community's quiet but very intense scrutiny.
The hours just crawled by, each minute stretching out for Mecca's family. Then, at 8:30 p.m., Shimar returned to Atriz. She'd moved some of her belongings to their new place.
Okay.
Walid and his eldest son, just consumed by worry and desperation, immediately confronted her, pleading for any information about Mecca.
And her reaction?
Strange. Evasive. She denied any knowledge of Mecca, even pretended she didn't know who Mecca was.
What? In that small village?
Bizarre.
Right.
A really unsettling response, clearly designed to deflect to create distance.
Walid, desperate, he must have pushed back.
He did. He tried to prompt her, suggesting, maybe Mecca had unknowingly climbed into the tricycle while playing with Shima's daughter.
Like accidentally hitched a ride.
Exactly. But Shima's denials were firm, agitated. She claims her daughter wasn't playing with anyone then. The tension was just palpable. Her visible nervousness, the agitated way she spoke, it immediately raised a red flag for Walid and his son. It cemented the community's suspicion.
And Walid's son also noticed something.
Yeah, he observed Shima's older children acting strangely too, clearly hiding something, their faces tight with these unspoken secrets.
So in that moment, Walid is probably thinking kidnapping.
That was his initial terrifying but maybe slightly hopeful theory. Maybe Shima kidnapped Mecca for her gold earring and was holding her captive somewhere.
Hopeful in the sense that she might still be alive.
Exactly. In that desperate hope, he sent his wife and another woman to search Shaima's apartment back in movie trees, thinking maybe she was hidden there.
Oh.
Nothing. Just more empty boxes, reinforcing the idea that Shaima really was moving out completely. The community felt this crushing disappointment. That brief flicker of hope was gone. But their resolve to find Mecca, to find the truth, it only got stronger. Their eyes, now sharpened by grief and suspicion, turned to the last known link.
The tricycle driver.
The tricycle driver. He was the key. The only one who left the village with that family, with their stuff, at that crucial time. Did Mecca ride with them?
So they tracked him down.
They tracked him down. Their collective will was like this silent force. Initially, he denied involvement, said he only moved boxes, saw no kids.
But they didn't even believe him.
They sensed more, sensed his apprehension. They persuaded him, probably more like compelled him, really to take them to the new apartment in Warden.
Wow. A desperate move.
A desperate leap of faith, a community-driven act born out of pure, unyielding determination.
So the group, including Mecca's older brother, they arrive at the apartment in Warden.
Yes. The tricycle driver, suddenly realizing the gravity, he tries to flee. But they hold him, prevent his escape. They knock repeatedly, pounding on the silent door. No answer.
So they break it down.
With a shared glance, knowing what might be inside, they broke down the door. And inside, the same disturbing scene. Chilling disarray, the smell of incense, those unsettling black magic items.
And
then, the chilling, undeniable discovery that made their blood run cold. Mecca's remains.
Oh God, her brother saw this.
Her brother saw this. Confronted with this unimaginable horror, he immediately called his father, Walid. Walid rushed to the scene. Together, their voices strained with grief and shock, they alerted the police. And the full extent of this nightmare puzzle began to unravel.
With the discovery grimly confirmed, Shaima and her children were apprehended. And here's where the story takes that shocking, unexpected turn, a twist that just blindsided everyone.
What happened?
17-year-old Menna, Shaima's daughter, she confessed to the murder.
The daughter confessed, not the mother.
The daughter. This revelation completely upended the prevailing theory. Given the precise, almost professional dismemberment, the initial theory circulating among the community, even early investigators had strongly pointed towards organ trafficking.
Right, that makes a certain kind of horrible sense.
But Menna's confession dramatically shifted the narrative. It forced everyone to reconsider the nature of the crime and the identity of the monster.
But the why, that was still missing.
Completely elusive, maddeningly so. Menna offered this series of shifting, often contradictory explanations for the murder.
Like what?
First, she claimed it was revenge on Mecca's father, Walid. Said he wanted them to vacate their rented apartment.
Okay.
But Walid vehemently denied this, stated clearly the apartment actually belonged to his brother, not him, and there'd been no dispute.
So that motive just crumbled.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Exposed as a fabrication. Then Menna tried a second explanation, revenge for supposed negative gossip about her mother in the village.
Gossip. In that tight community.
Exactly. This was also quickly refuted by villagers, living so closely they claimed no such gossip existed, making this motive equally unbelievable, equally hollow.
So what was left?
Her final desperate attempt at a motive was greed for Mecca's single gold earring.
But didn't you say?
Exactly. Even this was definitively disproven when the police found the earring still on Mecca's head when her remains were discovered.
But so none of her reasons held water.
None. It was clear she was grasping at straws, trying to conjure any plausible reason for the utterly implausible. What does it tell you when someone fabricates motive after motive and each one just collapses under scrutiny?
It points to something else, something maybe she couldn't even articulate or didn't want to.
Perhaps. A profound disconnect, maybe a chilling inability to articulate the true, unspeakable reason, or even a deliberate attempt to manipulate the narrative.
And the method she confessed to.
Equally chilling in its simplicity, Menna lured Mecca into the house while the 5-year-old was playing innocently with Menna's younger sister. Then she strangled her.
Just like that.
And the cover-up that followed was extensive, planned, horrific. Menna's family then helped her put Mecca's body in a box. They calmly called the tricycle driver, moved some belongings to the new apartment in Warden, and there, in that desolate space, they dismembered the body to hide the crime.
The whole family was involved in the cover-up.
The evidence pointed that way. Some parts were left in the boxes and school bag, as tragically discovered. Others, Menna claimed, were disposed of in the Nile, though extensive searches found nothing more.
And forensics confirmed strangulation.
Yes, the initial report from forensic medicine decisively confirmed strangulation as the cause of death, completely ruling out organ trafficking.
Because strangulation damages the organs.
Precisely. It renders organs unusable for transplants. And such a complex procedure for harvesting would never happen in a crude, empty village apartment anyway. Plus, crime lab experts found the entire family's fingerprints all over the new apartment, indicating all of them, mother, children, were complicit in the cover-up and the horrific act of dismemberment.
It paints this chilling picture of collective depravity.
It really does.
So we're left with this persistent, haunting question. It just echoes long after the facts are laid bare. Why did Menna kill Mecca? With all her stated motives totally debunked, with no logical explanation emerging, the true reason remains agonizingly elusive. It adds to the profoundly chilling nature of this case. What truly drove a teenager to such an act of unspeakable violence against an innocent child?
And that enduring mystery, that void where a rational explanation should be, it led investigators down another path, another layer of the investigation, delving into the darker currents flowing beneath the surface of this family's life.
What did they look into?
The focus shifted to Issam, Menna's father, Shamma's ex-husband. Witnesses came forward testifying to his known involvement in antiquities dealing and, more disturbingly, in black magic.
Black magic again, like the items in the apartment.
Exactly. These testimonies even suggested that Menna, who was strangely referred to by some people as Sheikh Menna.
Sheikh Menna, what does that imply?
It's unclear, but it hints at a perceived power or a role within this darker, maybe occult world. It suggests she assisted him in these activities. The items found, the talismans, the incense, the photos with strange markings seem to support these claims, hinting at this deeply unsettling, darker undercurrent to the family's beliefs and practices.
But did they connect him to Mecca's murder?
Ultimately, no. Despite these strong suspicions, despite the disturbing clues, the police investigation cleared Issam of any direct, provable involvement in Mecca's murder. There was simply a complete lack of concrete evidence directly linking him to the crime itself.
So that trail went cold too. Another unanswered question about the family's true dynamics.
Exactly, leaving that layer of mystery intact.
So what was the final legal outcome?
The final verdict came down in March 2025. It brought it close to the judicial proceedings, if not the human questioning. Menna was sentenced to 18 years in prison.
18 years.
Yes, 15 years for the murder itself, and an additional 3 years for concealing the body. Her mother, Shamma Hashem, and her son Muhammad, they were sentenced to 1 year each for covering up the crime.
Just 1 year for the cover-up and dismemberment help.
1 year each. And the tricycle driver, the one who unwittingly became part of this horrific narrative, he was acquitted and released, deemed an innocent party just doing his job, moving furniture.
So the case is legally closed. The system rendered its judgment, handed out sentences. But the profound, terrifying why, it remains unanswered, hovering like a shadow over the whole story.
Absolutely.
The true horror of a 5-year-old's innocent life, brutally taken by a teenage girl, with no discernible logical motive, it just continues to haunt. What kind of environment, what kind of upbringing, what kind of unseen darkness could possibly produce such a horrifying act? What does it mean when the most critical piece of the puzzle, the motive, simply isn't there?
That's precisely where the lingering unease lies, where this case goes beyond a typical true crime story and delves into something far more disturbing. The lack of a clear, logical motive for Menna's actions leaves this case open-ended in the most unsettling way imaginable.
Yeah.
It forces us to look beyond the immediate facts and ponder the profound complexities of human behavior, the terrifying possibility of darkness emerging from places we least expect it, what deep-seated issues, what kind of psychological landscape, what unarticulated reasons could compel a teenager to commit such a heinous act against an innocent child she barely knew. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that sometimes the answers we seek most desperately are simply not there.
And as we close this deep dive, you're left with a truly chilling thought. In 18 years, Menna will walk free. What will she be like then? Will she ever reveal the truth, the real why that remains hidden? And what does it mean when the most terrifying answers, the true motivations behind an act of pure evil, remain buried, hidden from the light, perhaps forever? This deep dive forces us to confront the true horror of the unknown.